Hey, race fans, welcome into the preview show presented by Toyota. I'm Alex Weaver, now joined by Jonathan Merryman. Well, we knew it. The 4 and the 11 are a class of their own. It came down to those two at the end. Denny Hamlin gutted after he ended up losing one of the crown jewels, but Kevin Harvick gets another one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Denny Hamlin, you're sick to your stomach. You had an absolutely fast race car, but things out of your control, take you out of that race. And Harvick, he did what he had to do. We heard on the radio, Childers told him they're questionable on their tires. Push him. Harvick pushed him, and what happened ended up happening. And then Harvick climbs the fence for a third time in Indianapolis.
Well, one of those racetracks that Kevin Harvick has not won at is where we're headed to again. So can he check another one off? Because we're looking at the 4 to be a championship favorite.
Yeah, they're absolutely a championship favorite. Don't take anything away from the 11. They're championship favorites too. And we talked a little bit last week about the crew chiefs playing a key role. In his post-race press conference, Rodney said he woke up at 3:02. He was very specific in the morning and thought about short pitting there in that stage. And, that helped him with some strategy to get out front there. But expect the same thing at Kentucky. Harvick was very, very determined at Pocono to get a win and check that off the list. Kentucky's the next place he hasn't won. He wants to check that off the list. And come hell or high water, they're going to be a force to reckon with at Kentucky. Now, what are we going to see at Kentucky? We don't know. We've never raced there during this time of day. It's going to be hot. This asphalt is still a bit of a question mark of what it's going to do during the daytime. So, all the more reason to tune in. These guys are going to be fighting these cars all day long.
A little over 400 miles to Kentucky. And like you said, it's a time of the afternoon that we've never raced there before. So are you watching anybody in particular besides who we can normally expect to get into victory lane?
So you're going to be looking at the guys that come from a dirt background, and the biggest one I think is going to be Tyler Reddick. If he can keep it off of the wall, if he can keep the 4 fenders on this race car, he should yield you some good fantasy points. But outside of that, I think it's going to be the usual suspects. I look for Eric Jones to be really good. He's just been snake bit. He's had so much bad luck. He's had really good runs. He just hadn't been able to finish the races. So guys like that who love the heat, and of course the 4 and the 11, you can't not talk about those guys.
All right, let's lock them in. Who's your fantasy pick for Kentucky?
I'm gonna go with a value pick. I'm gonna go for Reddick. I had a baby earlier this year and slept on my lineup, so a couple of my picks got recycled over and over again. So my key guys, I'm running out of usages for. I'm in a bad spot. So I'm going to take Reddick. I've got plenty of plays left for him. So I'm going to take Reddick. And look, don't sleep on Almirola either. He's had in the best stretch he's ever had in his career. He's another guy that can get you a lot of good points.
Yeah, don't blame your fantasy setup and your points on Charlie.
It's the kid's fault.
Always. All right. Well, you kind of teed me up for it because I like where him and Boog have kind of been team working together. They had that crew chief switch with the 14 and the 10 over at Stewart-Haas. So I'm going to go to Eric Almirola because he's had such a hot streak. He's really heating up this summer. Maybe the 10 will break it in.
And as soon as we jump on the bandwagon, something bad's going to happen there. So play him or not, it's up in the air.
Yeah, take our advice or not. All right, well, it's going to be a good weekend in the state of Kentucky. You're racing there Sunday in the NASCAR Cup Series at 2:30 on FS1 this week. You don't want to miss it, and we'll see you guys right back here next week.